Welcome to Agam's lecture series, a series of lectures designed to bring learning to the comfort of your homes. I'm senior lecturer Agama Uche Agama. Today we are continuing our discussion on pest and pest control. And the topic of discussion today is pest management and crop protection techniques. Pest management and crop protection techniques. What is pest management? Pest management is just integration of all the management practices, all the control practices relating to crop production. Package all of them into a unified system. And the aim of packaging them into a unified system is to hold one or more of the pests at some economic threshold, to keep the population of the pest to a level where they cannot be able to potentially cause what? Damage. Holding them to that level where they cannot potentially cause what we call holding them at sub-economic threshold level. At a level where they cannot potentially cause what? Harm. And also with a minimal effect on the what? Environment. Remember that anything you are doing today, you think of what? Protection of the what? Environment. For sustainable growth and sustainable development. Anything you are doing without making it environmentally friendly is a complete failure. Because the paradigm shift in world discussion is what? Sustainable what? Development. And environmental what? Protection. So once we integrate all these management practices, the idea is to have a unified one that can keep the pest population to a level where it cannot cause significant what? Damage, both to the crops and to the environment with respect to our control what? Measures. Now, pest management has some principal features. Principal features of pest management. What are those critical things you target or you have in mind when you are managing pests? One, you target the entire population of pests rather than localized ones. So your aim is to control the entire pest, not just to control the one within your immediate surrounding or within your own farm. You think of what? Overall control. Two, low average level of abundance of pest penetration. You must have to try as much as possible to keep the pest population at a very what? Low level. Low level. Then again, have a system that has long-term reliability. It has to be long-term reliability. It will last for a long time. It will be reliable. It will be cheap and environmentally what? Friendly. It's not just enough that you have controlled the pest. What of the damage to the environment? So you must have that in mind. What is the effect on the what? Environment. Four, alleviate pest infestation. That's reduce the level of infestation. Reduce the level of infestation. Make sure that the technique lasts long with the minimum side effects on both the plants, the farmer, and the what? Environment. Then finally, the philosophy of pest management is what? Manage pest, not to eliminate pest. It may not be possible to you to completely do what? Eliminate pest. So what you do is to do what? Manage pest. It's not like we are saying now. Some people say poverty eradication, and we are saying you can never eradicate poverty. Rather, you what? Minimize poverty. So in this context, it may not be possible, no matter what we do, to eliminate pest. So what we are trying to do is to do what? Manage. So the philosophy in pest management is what? To manage and not to do what? Eliminate. Because you may not be able to do what? Eliminate. Thank you very much. Then, if a farmer wants to control pests or a government wants to control pests, what is the need for it? Why will a farmer or a government control pests? One, if you control pests, you return value to the farmers. The value of the products, because the quality will be high and the market value will be high, you return value to the what? Farmers. Two, you protect your stored products and properties. Some farmers lose millions of dollars when weevils eat their stored beans. eat their stored maize, eat their stored what? Rice. So you have to protect stored products and what? Property. When you so remember, some pests go and attack the roof of a building, eating up all the wood, like the ants. And the roof will do what? Collapse. So you are not, when you talk about pests, you are not only talking of agri products, you're also talking about your what? Your properties. Even the statue, wood statues built in town can be attacked by pests. Even ship on the sea. If you have ever seen a long ship that moves from Atlantic Ocean coast of Nigeria to Europe, by the time it reaches in Europe, after offloading, they employ some people to go and scrape all the snails, all the crabs that attach themselves to the ship. Because when they attach themselves, they are adding to the weight of the ship. And after removing them, they have dents on the ship. They go and buy paint and repaint the ship to make it also fine again, aesthetically beautiful, for another customer to use it. These are all additional what? Costs. And these are caused by what? Pests. So when we talk of pests, you not only talk of agri products, but also what? Properties. Then you retain the quality and quantity of your what? Products. Quantity and what? Quality. Fine. And again, you ensure what? Food security. To ensure what? Food security. What do you understand by food security? Food security is when a people or a population have enough adequate nutritious food for all ages at all times. A government or a nation have enough adequate available nutritious what? Food at all times for all ages and for the entire population. That's when you have what? Food security. Only few countries in the world have food security. The whole of sub-Saharan Africa have what? Food insecurity. Because we cannot feed our population at all times with adequate nutritious what? Food. And why we cannot do that? A lot of our farm products are lost to what? Pest and pest infestation. That brings us to some pest management terms. There are some terminologies. I've used one of them at the beginning, threshold. And if you don't understand these terms, you may not understand this pest management very well. The first one is economic threshold. Economic threshold. What we mean by threshold? The population of pests above which economically significant damage or loss occurs. That's economic what? Threshold. The population of pests you have, above that population, there will be significant economic what? Loss or damage. That is what? Economic threshold. Then we have economic injury level. This is the level of population density. And you know, population density, the number of organisms per unit area. The level of population density at which economically significant damage or loss occurs. That was economic injury what? Level. Economic injury level. Then pests are classified based on the economic what? Threshold. You cannot classify pests based on what? Their economic what? Threshold. In that classification, we now have what? Regular pests. From the word regular, you see that there are pests that is always there. Regular pests. These are pests whose population level fall or are below the economic threshold. And they are perennial. Perennial means year in, year out. Year in, year out. They cause serious what? Damage to the crops. Example, quiver bird. There's this bird we call quiver bird. We call it, it eats maize, it eats palm tree. Some people call it weaver bird because it makes a net like a weave. It can damage crops. Now, the second one, occasional pests. The English word, occasional pests. These are pests whose population levels are normally below economic threshold level, but sometimes they rise above it. Example, there are some grasshoppers that eat our maize and they are called locust. In fact, the real common name is variegated grasshopper, but they call it what? Locust. If a farmer tell you that the farm is infested by locusts, you know he has lost almost all his what? Grains or produce. It's called what? Occasional pests. Then we have potential pests. Potential pests. These are pests whose population level is usually considered to be far below the economic threshold, but oftentimes they become highly what? Injurious under certain environmental what? Conditions and cause some what? damage. Some of these pests can be what? Exotic pests that are introduced from one country to another. Thank you. If you are thrilled by this lecture, as we say, I still remain your lecturer Agama, and click the red subscribe button to join us in our subsequent lectures. Thank you and God bless you.